Okay, get this, you guys. Elon Musk just said no to, well, buying TikTok.
Wow.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Like, everyone else is practically tripping over themselves to, get their hands on this thing.
It's huge.
Right. Musk is just like, nope, not interested. And that is exactly what we're diving into today.
Okay.
Like, what does this kind of wild decision tell us about how Musk sees the future of, well, everything tech and, what it means for us just trying to keep up?
Makes you think.
So are you ready to unpack all this?
Definitely. It's such a weird thing, right? Especially TikTok. I mean, you think about how many people are on there and how it's like everywhere.
I know, right? This is the guy who's all about colonizing Mars, and he doesn't want a piece of TikTok. Well, for our deep dive today, we're looking at this article from Smart Money AI,
Oh, yeah.
and it really lays out some interesting stuff.
Yeah. One of the biggest things is that this whole thing really shows us how Musk thinks about, well, technology in general.
Mhm.
He doesn't just want, Aeon Y successful company. He's looking for the ones that could actually, like, change the world.
Okay, so TikTok is successful, but it's not exactly revolutionizing cars or connecting brains to computers.
All right.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly. If you look at, well, all the other things Musk is doing, SpaceX, Tesla, even Neuralink, and all that stuff with X, what used to be Twitter, I mean, they all have this one thing in common.
Yep.
They're all about, really pushing the limits of what's possible.
He's not messing around with small improvements.
No, he wants to invent the future.
So TikTok might be fun and all, but it doesn't really fit into that whole transforming humanity thing.
Yeah.
It's like bringing a smartphone to a rocket launch.
Okay.
It's useful, sure, but it's not exactly pushing the boundaries of what humans can do.
That's a great way to put it, actually. And the article even mentions how Musk, like, thrives in these intense, high-stakes situations
Right.
where everything is about engineering and, like, crazy inventions. TikTok is more about, like, entertainment and making videos, and that might not be the kind of challenge that, well, that Musk really wants.
But couldn't you argue that, TikTok with all its like crazy algorithms and how it can figure out what users want, isn't that like a hotbed of AI innovation?
That's a good point. TikTok definitely uses AI in some really powerful ways.
Yeah.
And you could say that Musk, with his interest in AI through companies like Neuralink, might see some value there.
Yeah.
But I think the big difference is in how that AI is being used.
Yeah.
TikTok's mostly using it for, like, personalized entertainment and ads, while Musk seems more interested in how AI can, solve big human problems,
I see.
like improving how our brains work or coming up with sustainable energy solutions.
So it's not just about the tech itself, it's about what you're doing with it.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
seems like for Musk, it's not just can we do this,
Hmm.
but should we do this, and how will it change the world?
Okay, that makes sense. But let's not forget about all the, the regulatory stuff TikTok's been dealing with. Governments all over the world are looking at them, worried about data privacy and security.
For sure.
Maybe that's also part of why Musk is like, nah, I'm good.
Oh, absolutely. Musk is already dealing with so much regulatory stuff with, SpaceX and Tesla
Mm-hmm.
taking on TikTok with, well, all of its extra baggage might not be worth it, especially if he's not, like, super passionate about the platform.
It's like he's already juggling chainsaws on fire. Why add another one?
Exactly. And it shows how strategic Musk is.
Right.
He's not just chasing after the latest shiny object. He's carefully choosing, things that fit into his big long-term vision.
So maybe this isn't even just about TikTok, but about how all the big tech companies are thinking about buying other companies.
Yeah.
It's not just about getting the hottest app anymore. It's about finding companies that, well, that fit into a bigger, more important puzzle.
You got it. And this brings us to a really interesting question. Well, I think there are going to be a lot of companies interested in this. The article even talks about, like, Microsoft, Google, even maybe Meta.
Yeah.
They all see how many users TikTok has
Yeah.
and, well, how much money they could make from ads and stuff.
Right.
But like we were saying, they got to figure out if it's worth all the trouble with the government and everything.
Yeah, it's like a giant poker game with really high stakes.
Totally.
Trying to like guess if the good stuff outweighs all the bad stuff.
Exactly.
But this whole thing about TikTok's future, it really makes you think about like what's next for all of social media, right?
Right, yeah.
I mean, is this a sign that things are about to, totally change?
I think so. I think we're, like, right at the beginning of this huge shift in how we use social media.
Okay.
And even though Musk isn't, jumping into this whole TikTok thing, he's definitely paying attention to these big changes.
So what are those changes? Like, what's going to happen?
Well, the article talked about a few things, like AI, right?
Hmm.
And then there's virtual reality and augmented reality.
Mm.
And even like something called decentralized social networks.
Yeah, I remember. But like, break it down for me.
Okay, sure.
What does it all mean?
Well, they're all connected in like these crazy ways, but let's start with AI
Mm.
because, well, that's already happening.
Right.
But what we're seeing now is just like the very beginning.
Okay, so it's more than just like getting those suggestions in your feed, right?
Right.
Like, paint me a picture. What's social media going to look like with all this AI stuff?
Imagine a world where your whole social media experience is like perfectly tailored to you,
Okay.
way more than we can even imagine right now. You know, AI could filter out all the junk and negativity,
Yeah.
show you content based on like your specific interests,
Wow.
and even act like a personal coach or mentor,
Oh, wow.
guiding you to learn new things and stuff.
That sounds amazing. It's like having your own social media assistant or something.
Yeah,
But wouldn't that create like those echo chambers and all that where we only see stuff that, agrees with what we already believe?
that's a really good point.
Like, wouldn't that make it harder to like understand different perspectives?
You're totally right, and that's where the ethical part of AI comes in.
Mhm.
As AI gets like smarter and smarter, we got to be careful about the downsides too.
Yeah.
We have to make sure that those algorithms are designed to like show us different viewpoints and make us think critically.
It sounds tricky.
It is. It's a huge challenge, but well, it's one we can't ignore.
Yeah. It's like walking a tightrope or something.
Right.
Using all the power of AI, but making sure we don't like fall off the edge.
Exactly.
Okay, so AI is one big thing. What about VR and AR? I still don't really get what those mean for social media.
So think about it this way. Right now, we're like stuck on these flat screens.
Yeah.
We scroll and like and comment, and well, that's about it.
Yeah.
But VR and AR can like break us out of those screens and create these totally immersive experiences.
So instead of just seeing a picture of your friend on vacation, you could actually like feel like you're right there with them on the beach.
Exactly. Or imagine going to a virtual concert with friends from all over the world.
Wow.
Or like exploring a historical site together, but, with digital stuff layered on top to give you more information.
So social media becomes less about just like passively watching
Yeah.
and more about actually doing things together, even if you're not in the same place.
Exactly. And this all ties into the metaverse, right?
Mm.
It's basically like this giant network of virtual worlds.
Okay.
It's still early, but some people think the metaverse could be how we, interact with each other in the future.
Huh. That's pretty wild.
Right.
Yeah.
Place where we work and play and learn, all in these virtual worlds.
Wow. Okay, I'm definitely interested now.
Good.
But what about those decentralized social networks? That one's a little harder to wrap my head around.
Okay, well, imagine this.
Yeah.
Most social media sites now are like these giant malls owned by one big corporation, right? They make the rules, they collect all the data, and they can like censor stuff or kick people off if they want.
Right.
Decentralized social networks are more like a bunch of independent stores,
Right.
each with its own owner and its own rules.
Oh, okay.
So instead of one big boss controlling everything,
Yeah.
it's more like a network of communities.
I see.
And all that data isn't controlled by one company. It's like spread out among all the users.
Huh.
This could help with a lot of the worries people have about, privacy and censorship and all the power that these big tech companies have.
It's like the difference between like a mass-produced thing and something handmade, right?
Yeah.
With these decentralized networks, you've got more control, you can be more unique, and you have more say in, well, how things work.
I like that. That's a great way to think about it. And that's what makes this whole trend so exciting.
Uh-huh.
It could actually give the power back to the users.
Wow.
Give them control over their information, their privacy, and, well, their whole online experience.
Mm. So we've got AI making our social media more personalized and efficient, right?
Yeah.
And VR and AR creating these crazy new ways to connect. And then these decentralized networks giving us more control and ownership.
That's a lot.
It sounds like the future of social media is like full of awesome potential,
Yeah.
but also some pretty big challenges too.
You're right, but that's what makes all this so interesting, don't you think?
Yeah.
It feels like we're at this, like, crossroads, and the decisions we make now are going to determine how we connect with each other online in the future.
It's exciting, but also a little scary, honestly.
I know, right?
But before we get too caught up in, all the what ifs of the future, let's bring it back down to earth for a second. We've been talking about like all this crazy stuff that could change social media forever. But
Yeah.
for, the average person listening to this who's maybe feeling a little overwhelmed by all these changes,
Yeah.
what's like the main thing they should take away from all this? What does it actually mean for them?
I think, well, it's easy to get lost in all the tech talk.
Right.
But the most important thing to remember is, you have more control than you think.
Oh,
As all this stuff changes and
yeah.
evolves, like, you get to decide how you want to, be a part of it.
Uh-huh.
Choose the platforms that match what you believe in.
Okay.
If you really care about privacy, maybe a decentralized network is the way to go.
Right.
If you're super excited about the metaverse, then start checking out those virtual worlds.
Yeah.
The point is you're not just like stuck on this ride. You can actually choose where you want to go.
So it's not about just getting swept along with whatever's happening.
Right.
It's about like becoming a better navigator, choosing your own path.
Exactly. And this brings us back to, Elon Musk.
Okay.
He's not just sitting back and watching all this happen.
Uh-huh.
He's out there actually shaping it.
Yeah.
All his focus on these future-changing technologies like SpaceX and Neuralink. It reminds us that, well, we all have a part to play in creating the future.
It's kind of inspiring when you think about it like that.
It is.
That we're not just, consuming all this tech, but we can actually be a part of making it better.
Totally. And I think that's a really important takeaway for everyone listening.
Yeah.
What are you passionate about? What problems do you want to see solved?
Mm.
Because the future of tech isn't just being decided by, big companies or geniuses like Elon Musk. It's
Right.
being shaped by everyone through the choices we make and the cool new stuff we support.
Wow. That's really powerful.
I think so.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into, well, Elon Musk and TikTok and the future of tech,
Yeah.
let's leave everyone with one last thing to think about.
Okay.
If Musk is all about, the shift towards these world-changing technologies,
Uh-huh.
what other amazing inventions might we see in the next few years? What are you most excited about?
Oh, man, that's a tough one.
I know, right?
There's so much happening right now. But one thing I'm really fascinated by is how biotechnology and AI are like coming together.
Okay.
Imagine like medicine that's specifically designed for you based on your genes,
Wow.
or AI tools that can, help us discover new drugs and diagnose diseases faster.
Yeah.
We're talking about like maybe even wiping out diseases, helping people live longer, and making our brains even better.
It sounds like we're about to see some like totally groundbreaking stuff that could change everything.
We are, and that's what makes this such an amazing time to be alive.
I know, right?
The future is like happening right in front of us,
Right.
and it's up to all of us to decide what kind of future we want.
Well said. And on that note, we're going to wrap up this deep dive.
Okay.
But remember, this is just the start,
Right.
Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep pushing the limits.
For sure.
Because who knows, maybe one of you listening right now will be the one to invent the next big thing.
You never know.
Until next time, keep diving deep and keep those minds engaged.